many years. I got started when I was quite young in network marketing. I came into the industry by a company that did holiday vouchers, sort of hotel accommodation vouchers where you pay for your meals. That was the first company I was actually with. And then I got involved with a perfume network and ended up actually taking over as co-owner of that company. We were only a much smaller operation than FM, but we ran that, myself and my business partner, we ran that for 3 years. And at the end of it, we decided the company had grown, we were doing well, but at the same time we knew we didn't have the financial money behind us to do the sort of product development in the same way like FM has. So we decided we had enough, and we actually closed that company. We left the industry with the intention of not actually coming back into networking. We thought we've been there and sort of done it. And then after about a year, I got bored of not being in network marketing and came back into the industry, but in quite a small way. And actually, we continued network marketing alongside an insurance job that I had. I was running an insurance office doing specialist cars, American cars, kit cars, custom cars, all those sort of things. I got involved with enough of a perfume and cosmetic company and built up a big team within that alongside the insurance job. But the company didn't treat people in quite the same way as FM do, and the atmosphere there wasn't fantastic. And I got a random email out of the blue from Vasek in Poland, and it was the actual email he sent to myself, and he also sent to a lot of networkers within the UK, a lot of the top networkers. The invite was to meet up with the person who was going to be launching the FM office in London, Anita.
Okay.
And I decided to go along, meet up and find out what it was about, because obviously a perfume, with my background as well before. And I met up with her, liked the marketing plan and everything, and I got one of the starter kits, joined up, and I made a very big mistake. So I then decided that I'm not going to, jump at the first thing. I've got the kit. I worked for, small insurance brokers, and I actually knew up people who had much more work contacts than I did. So I actually lent the kit to someone that worked at a larger company.
Okay.
And the feedback that she came back with was nobody liked the fragrances, they didn't last, the people were coming out in rushes and everything. So I thought, oh, that's, well, it's okay on me, but if, I won't sell a product that's going to cause that sort of problem. So I thought, okay, fair enough. I kept in touch with Anita to see what was sort of going on, and that went along to a few more meetings. But for the first 10 months I was actually in the business, I wasn't actually building it. I was literally just sort of, just being involved by going along to things, but not actually building. So I thought, I hope they improve these at some point. I then actually got a full bottle for myself of the fragrance, and I think it was actually the number 50, which we don't actually do anymore. And I got that fragrance and wore it, a lot more, and a lot of people comment on it, and how good it was and that. I later found out that the person who I'd asked to show around the fragrances didn't actually show them around. She didn't show them to anybody. She'd lied about it because she didn't want me to do network marketing. But you live and learn.
Amazing, so, amazing. One thing I wanted to ask: which kit was it that you got?
We had 100 fragrances when I joined.
Okay.
We only had classics. We didn't have any luxuries, and we also didn't. The very first catalogue I had, we didn't actually have any pictures in. It was just words in there. So yeah, it was a bit different from how things are now. On that, the luxuries came in during that time when I was sort of taking just a very limited profile in the business.
Amazing.
So and then in November, it was 2006, I then decided to sort of put a bit more effort into the business and start to build it up from there. And I developed it still alongside my insurance job that I was doing.
Yeah.
And we saw more things come in. Obviously, we saw the sort of body care products as well introduced in there, fragrance body care, which obviously everybody liked. And I moved up. I think I was Pearl. I was in 21% in Pearl. I think I became in 2007. Both of those. But then the first person actually who became 21% within my organisation, she brought a lot of people across from a rival network, and that rival network then headhunted her back, offering her money to go back there, which she took, and took a lot of the team with her in that particular leg. So it was tough after that, you know, having hit Pell and then to sort of see that go away. I would add that she's actually since, after a very short time, she actually left them.
Okay.
Because of the problems they had, and she's actually now a customer of mine again.
Okay, Roy, let me stop you here for a second. One person wrote that they can't hear Roy. No, I can hear Roy absolutely fine. If everybody else could just quickly type in if they can hear Roy okay or not, because on my earphones I can hear him perfectly fine. So if I could just see if you can type in the questions box if you can hear him fine. I can see yes, yep, yes, can hear him. Somebody's saying it keeps breaking up. Yes, 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 yes. Not very clear. Can hear loud and clear. A bit fuzzy sounding. Yes.
That's just me.
Constantly cutting out, broken. Can't hear clearly. Okay, so I think it might be something to do with internet connection, because down my end I can hear him very, very clearly. So some of you might be experiencing bad internet or something like that. Now, I am recording this, so anything you missed, you will be able to hear it afterwards. You know, there will be a recording of it. But most of you, I can see that you can hear him fine. Okay, guys, you can start typing in the questions, and I can see the first question in, and it says it's from Aaron, and Aaron's saying, I'm struggling selling the business and to build up my team. What advice could you offer, and what techniques did you use?
I would say very much keep it simple. At the training on Saturday, we were talking a lot about this, about the fact that often we give too much information to people. The whole business, at the end of the day, is about selling our products and finding other people to do the same thing. And every other bit of information we've got is extra to that. So I think keep it very, very simple. Because what we're offering people is the chance to save money on types of products they would normally use, and then earn money by going to their friends. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the majority of people you speak to, that's a very, very good offer for them if they're in the right frame of mind at the time for it. So I would say definitely keep it simple on there, and use whatever method that you're happy to use. You know, when you first start off, often people start with the way they were introduced to the business. So if you're introduced by friends, you know, speak to your friends. If you've got a text message come through, send text you from your phone. If you're introduced on Facebook, use your contacts in Facebook for it. Whatever method you're comfortable with, first of all, in introducing the business to people, start to use, and then you can then start to use other methods as you build up in the business.
Okay, fantastic. Another question. I've just joined and I don't know where to start. Could you advise me?
The first thing to do is let people know that you've actually started the FM business, because unless you tell people, they won't know. They want somebody to queue up at the door if no one knows about it. So make use of the contacts that you've got. Ask people to help you with the new business you've started, because if people are friends of yours, they will actually want to help you with your business. And even if they don't decide to buy a product from you themselves, they may know other people that will. Again, if they're not interested at a particular time in earning extra money themselves, they may know other people that are. So contact, ring all the people you know. Again, contact them on the social media sites. Contact them on your mobile phone. It's amazing how many people all of us know. And just by asking people just to help with new business, then you will get a lot of feedback from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Linda is asking, she's saying, I'm really new and I want to post books door to door. What is the best way to go about it? Many thanks.
Being totally honest, it's not the easiest method to retail by going door to door with it. But if you are going to go door to door, then I would say definitely knock on the door first and introduce yourself. Because if you just purely put the catalogue through the doors, then you're not going to get a lot of response from it normally. So introduce yourself and just say that it's an international company, new to the area, and you'd like to give them a chance to have a look at our catalogues, and give them a couple of our samples as well to try, and say you'll come back and collect them in a couple of days. and keep it very relaxed. The more sales pressure you put on, the less likely they are to buy from you on there. And with the door-to-door side, it is very much a numbers game. It's making contact with the people, giving them the information and the samples, and then just it's going some will, some won't, and you will build up a customer base locally on there.
Fantastic.
So I would say definitely do upper methods alongside doing that.
Okay, yeah, fantastic advice. Stephen is asking, Roy, can you tell us more about Color My Perfume and how did you choose the types of fragrances?
What I did was I looked at all the fragrance groups, and we split it down into the 9 groups for the women and 7 groups for the men. And I chose fragrances within there that were both popular fragrances that we knew people would like, but also at the same time would not be ones that would put people off. So, for example, number 32, which is a huge seller for us, is it's the Marmite fragrance of the range. So it's not one that you'd introduce to people first of all in the first 9 fragrances they try, because if they really hate it, then they're going to think, they're instantly in their mind's going to think, I hate FM fragrances because they didn't like 32. So ones like that have been left out, and also I've tried to choose fragrances that are pretty much in the middle of the particular group, so they're not either extreme. So again, it gives a good indication of what the other fragrances in that group would be like.
Yeah.
On the fruit one, we were a bit limited obviously on the number of fragrances within there. So on that one, I did actually choose 201 because it is our most popular one of the fruity fragrances. But if anybody does like that the most, I always stress to them that the upper one in the range is not quite it smells completely different.
Yeah, fantastic. What's your favorite perfume, by the way, Roy?
It's 327 is the one I'm wearing at the moment. I normally use.
Oh yes, that's a nice one.
I started off with number 50 way back when I first joined, and when the first change happened after I first joined, when they bought new fragrances and got rid of some, number 50 actually went. So for all those where you experience the fragrance you use yourself gets discontinued, believe me, I've had that. And then for a long while, 52 was one I used. So whenever the new fragrances come out, I always try and wear one of them each day to see what sort of reaction they get. And 327 is the one I found the best one for myself.
Fantastic. Isabel is asking, where do you find people to sign up?
Everywhere. Everybody you possibly come into contact with. For your everyday life, for people that are serving you, that's quite good often. If they're providing you with a service or with a business, it gives you a chance to then speak to them on that. Social media is obviously playing a major part now within a lot of people building their businesses. So every possible opportunity you get, never ever miss an opportunity to introduce the business to somebody.
Absolutely. I remember reading somewhere where it says it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not to have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared for it.
Exactly.
Okay, Abby is asking, how do you get local businesses interested in FM, as I have emailed and had no response?
I would say you need to go into them, to be honest. A lot of businesses, as I know a good number of us in the business do, we get a lot of emails trying to sell us things all the time, and phone calls, etc. as well. So I think really with local businesses, the personal aspects comes into it. You actually do need to actually go into those local businesses, and then there's some excellent training on doing that on the My World TV Media website and the videos on there.
Okay, we'll post the My World link in just a moment, guys. Let me just write it down before I forget. my memory is as bad as yours, Roy.
What's my name again? No.
Terrain and Ben are asking, what selling method do you believe worked best for you, Roy?
I think the most effective is actually party plan. I think that gets in front of a lot of people at the same time, and people tend, have a lot of fun at parties, so therefore they're more inclined to buy when they're having fun. But the key bit is to actually get the fragrances onto people, because however much we say our fragrances are wonderful, I'm sure all the department store fragrances say theirs are wonderful. I'm sure after it sounds like we say that their products are wonderful, until people actually try our products, they don't realise the quality. And it's only by trying our products they can actually find out the fact that our fragrances do last longer than the fragrances they would tend to buy in the department stores.
Fantastic, fantastic. Sarah is asking, how best can I support my new recruits? What ongoing support can I offer to keep them active members?
Very much stay in regular contact with them obviously through phone calls, through the emails and everything now. You'll also link in, there's various support sites you can link into, including on my support site, which is open to everybody. I've actually got as what I call essential emails, where people can actually subscribe on there for new people to receive 10 emails, which just tell them the very basics of the business spread over their first 10 days to introduce them on there. Make sure you stay in really good contact. We've now got a lot more tools which give us reasons, if you like, to contact people where they've maybe not been active for a while. We've got the special offers, which come out every other month. January and February one's one at the moment. So you've got those to go back to people with. We've also got some fantastic incentives within the UK, which you can also let people know. There's always news to let people know about.
Fantastic.
So whenever you're contacting people, I would say always, give them a lot of, new information, as well as, making sure they're aware of the basics. One of the team as well does very effectively actually in supporting new people by actually using a mobile app. It's called WhatsApp.
Okay.
I know there's another one called Viper, where you can actually send pictures to people free of charge on mobiles, and that's worked very, very well, and because it means you can actually send product pictures to them to tell them about special offers.
Amazing. That's brilliant. And what's your website, Roy?
It's www.fm-opportunity.co.uk.
Amazing. Okay, let me just put it down as well so everybody can see it. Send to all. Okay. Amy is asking, she says, I have made a group on Facebook, but I'm just not getting any orders at all. I'm really stuck. Any advice, Roy?
People do need to, as I said, people do actually need to smell fragrances, I believe, on there. And so I think groups on Facebook are very useful for when you've introduced people into the business, to help support them. There's a lot. I'm a member of about 50, I think, different groups on Facebook that people created for different teams in the UK and abroad. So there's an awful lot of brilliant support sites there. And whilst it's good for people when they join the business, for people where they're looking at the products, I would say for the fragrance side, people really do need to smell them, to smell the quality on there. I would say on Facebook, if you're doing, for example, I know some people do sort of online Facebook parties, I would say to actually concentrate more on the makeup side, because you're more likely to sell the makeup products as an impulse buy online than you are the fragrances until people actually smell them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, personally, I've seen it so many times that people are looking for an easy way, to do business, and they just hope that if I make a Facebook page, or if I make an online shop, which obviously we are not allowed to have anymore, but they imagine that there will be thousands and thousands of people coming and buying the products, etc. But in majority of the cases, that's not the case. Actually, Roy, you had your own online shop in the past, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It took me a month to create it.
And
just about paid for the hosting at the time I had it. So no, it wasn't my best move.
And what did you make a lot of sales?
I said the money I made out of the sales actually just about paid for the year's hosting of the website. So no, very, very, very little from the online sales on that.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, before they invent a way to pass smell over internet, I think we need to stick to our samples with that.
Yeah, and I've said it can work. It can work, and I've seen it work. People doing online parties on Facebook for the makeup, because that's much easier to sell online than people don't. They can see the colours on there. They know what colour colours suit them. Whereas with the perfumes, they need to try the fragrances in order to find out which fragrance they like the best.
Okay. Some people are still saying that they can't hear Roy very well, so I'm posting my website as well, www.theadditionalincome.co.uk, and I will try to upload the recording as fast as possible after we finish today's webinar. So guys, for those of you who can't hear it very well, I'm really sorry about that, but this, is just technology and internet, so some people might not be able to hear it very clear. Okay. Another question. What are the best methods of building a team?
Well, in terms of recruitment, it's a case of you speaking to everybody you know and getting them to speak to everybody they know on there to bring people into the business. For actual structure of the team, I would say you want to look for leaders within your team who have both got the ability and the time as well, because time is a factor on there. Even though a lot of people with busy lives, if they're willing to put the time aside, can be excellent in the business. But they must also have the desire. They must actually also want to build the business on there. Often, we often want the success for people in business more than they want it themselves at times. And I know we've all experienced the case where you sort of focus on the wrong people because they're nice people and you want them to do well, but if they're not willing to put the time aside themselves to build, and they don't, and they for whatever reason, maybe they've just got too much money, I don't know. They decide not to build, then you're wasting your time on there. So you've got to be quite tough on that. You've got to make sure you're putting effort into the people who are actually doing their businesses.
Exactly. No, I think it's a time to blow the people's minds off. Roy, how many team members have you got in your team?
Just over 27,000 at the moment.
Oh, is that all?
I still remember back how many years ago? Was it just over 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago this January. I remember speaking to a friend of mine from another business, and she asked me the same question: how many people have you got now? And I said, I just hit 2,000 people, and she almost fell off a chair. And that was the most I've when I hit 2,000, that was more than I've had in previous businesses I've been involved in.
Mm-hmm.
So reach 27,000, it still astounds me as well.
Amazing.
But of course, I've not personally introduced 27,000 people to the business.
Exactly. How many people in your first line?
I've got 40 people in front line to me on my first number, and under additional numbers, probably a similar number again, spread across the numbers.
Yeah.
On there.
Fantastic.
So about 80 people roughly.
And how many lines does it go down?
I think it's 33 at the moment, instead of that.
Wow. Amazing. Okay.
The momentum of it. Once you find the good leaders, and once they start to, find leaders themselves, the momentum just absolutely carries on. In the
Absolutely.
There's countless examples in the team and on other teams as well where people have taken a break from the business, even a break for a couple of years, and actually come back and seen their businesses actually, grown from when they were involved before.
Yeah, definitely. John's asking. Do you think that it is better to sit down with your people face to face and to build a list of names?
Face to face is always the ideal method, and if you can get together face to face, do it. But at the same time, don't discount the people who are living further away from you.
Mm.
And I know in the when I was involved with Demond, which was my old perfume company before, I started in that as the distributor in the same way like with FM. And myself and my business partner, we built a good team locally within Essex. And we didn't really build much outside of it. I think we had a few Hertfordshire and Cambridgeshire way. And then when we actually took over the company, we then obviously had everybody, the distributors actually scattered all around the UK. We had quite a lot up in Scotland, and we had a number of other countries around the world as well. Mm-hmm. And until we took over, we always believed that the only way to build was local. Yeah. But when we then became the company, and because it was a very small company, we were still effectively really, taking on the role of leadership as well as the stock control and everything else that went on the corporate side. Yeah. And we realised it can work just as easily with people that live a long distance away, and that's got easier over the years with the advent of the internet A lot more people now using everything on their mobile phones as well.
Yeah,
Things got a lot easier, and tonight is a perfect example of that. There's a lot of
absolutely.
people within our teams who live a long way away from us who are listening to this call tonight.
Exactly, exactly. Another question for you, Roy. How can I set up my own website?
There's a lot of different website providers around now that people use. I know a lot of people use people like GoDaddy and that, which have got sort of website builders within there. I myself personally use one-on-one a lot. That's one word one and then again the word one again .co.uk. I found them to be very, very good. But there's a lot of different ones around, so it's really just finding what ones you prefer to use,
Yeah.
depending on sort of the skill levels you've got on there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I know there's a lot of myths out there. They think that when you hit Diamond Orchid in FM, you just sit all day drinking cocktails by your pool. But the question here, it says, ask him if he still meets up with people face to face. So do you, Roy?
I do regularly, and I have done today. I have some of the team today actually as well. So no, you still continue to build the business at whatever level you're at. If you want to to grow. I said it before, we've had examples where people have taken time out from business and come back to a much bigger business. But the way to make sure that your business grows is to continue to work the business. So whatever level you're at, you need to continue to put effort into the business and support the people you've got within your teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, another question. Feel free to not answer it, Roy, if you don't feel like it, but obviously it won't come up.
That's right.
How much money is Roy making per month?
I don't want to disclose income because I'm one of those people where I believe it's not something people should sort of discuss between them. But I'm actually saying what I got in December as a one-off, just to because obviously the first time I've hit diamond on there, so I just make people aware of what I can get when they first hit it. So actually on just over 9,000 last month.
Amazing.
8,000 or just over 8,000, which was from my diamond position, and I've also got a pearl position myself as well, on an additional number, £1,000 from that.
Amazing. Did you hear it, guys? Not only that he did a diamond, he done a pearl on another ID. How good is that? Okay. Another question here. How long have you been in the business?
I joined in January 2006, and I started building in November 2006 with the business because, as I said, for the first 10 months, I thought the fragrance gave everybody rashes.
Okay, another question. It says, Roy, how do you duplicate? What method do you do? So, yeah, how do you achieve duplication, Roy?
I think it's a case of finding out how much people want to do with the business and how they want to build themselves with it. We've got the 90-day plan, which I know myself and a lot of other people use when people are joining the business. And that's very good for finding out the way people are comfortable with starting off to build a business. So I would say that, if whatever method you particularly use yourself, don't always, let people you introduce know about that method, but don't think they're going to follow the same method as you. So, for example, if you're introducing people to parties, then, if they've joined a party, yes, the chances are they may well do parties themselves, but there's going to be some people who join parties that prefer to go door to door or prefer to just, sell to family and friends outside of parties. So let people know about how you do things, let people know about the other methods as well, and using the 90-day plan, then help them to plan how they're going to get started.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's actually a fantastic advice. Another question, a long one for you. What is the best what is the best approaching to selling the home and car products? As of course the fragrances and makeup would initially be more compelling to customers, especially when I'm 18 years old and my main consumer market is of younger age.
I would say, I personally myself as well, always tend to lead in with the fragrances and makeup to actually introduce the products to people, and then once they've started to use either the perfume, makeup or both, then start to tell them about the home products, because then they will know the quality of different products, and then you can introduce more things to them on there.
Yeah.
Having said that, for students, some of the clean products we've got can be very, very good for getting, if they don't do as much cleaning as maybe someone else has do. So I know when I was that sort of age, I didn't. So it may be well when you need concentrated cleaning, it comes in very handy.
Lisa is asking, that's quite an interesting question actually. How much would you say financially you have invested to get your business where it is today?
I don't know is the honest answer to that. I've put in a lot less money into this than I've done to previous businesses I've been in.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the main reasons for that is in the previous business I've been in going back a good number of years, one of the main ways to build a business was through advertising in newspapers, through classified advertising.
Yeah.
So that major cost no longer exists really because very few people these days advertise in newspapers.
Yeah.
So advertising online, a lot of free classified sites is a lot cheaper. Most
exactly.
it's free unless you want to boost your ad up. So the costs, of advertising costs are quite low from that. And I would say one thing that you should definitely do is make sure you've got good deals on your mobile phones, on your landlines as well, to make sure you've got a lot of minutes on there. Because often when people first join the business, they don't realise they're going to be talking a lot more than they were.
Yeah.
And therefore they suddenly get a surprise with their phone bill. So I would say make sure you've got a lot of minutes on your mobiles, a lot of minutes on your landline as well, in order to minimise your cost.
Exactly. The final question probably to you, Roy, before we let you off. Where do you find the 90-day plan that you are using?
That's on Stephen Wallen's support site.
Which is?
www.simply-thebest.biz.
Best.biz. Okay, I'll post that to all as well.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's instructions on there how to use it as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, Roy, thank you very much. It was an honor to have you here on this call. I hope not the last time we have you here, and thanks so much for giving us your time.
No problem. Thank you for all the great questions.
Fantastic. Have a good night. Bye, Roy.